Shalom. All right, first and foremost, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the supreme power, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakakadash, and double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great millstone. Peace and salutation to the hopeful elect. Shalom to the few sisters watching and learning. Stay strong and remain humble. This is the brother Castle One from the GMS Bahamas camp. I got you through the spirit and power of Yahweh Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, with a lesson pertaining to prophecy. All right. The lesson pertaining, all right, to the MOTB, the Charagma, the mark of the beast. All right. As we know, we see wars and rumors of wars are popping off. World War III, we are even that much closer. All right, today, March 13th, we are that much closer, all right, to the end. But we know that the mandatory implementation of the Charagma has to come into play first. We know that the sequence of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai would not break for anything, just like how he has it ordained to come. It will come. All right, and we are that much closer to the end. All right, I have a series of videos that I want to play, all right, pertaining to the MOTB, the Charagma, the mark of the beast, all right, to show you how close we are, all right, with them, all right, putting that subdermal in you, all right, submerging, basically turning man into machine, trying to digitally enslave you, all right, give you a barcode that they can connect directly to your human anatomy. All right, what they're basically trying to get your soul, but all souls belong to Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. They're trying to take that spiritual connection away with you and the Most High, all right, in which only the Israelites have, all right, you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos, and speckled birds scattered across the four winds because this thing don't go in skin color or looks. All right, they're really targeting our people, all right, the real Israel. All right, the rest of these heathen nations, don't mind them, they could do what they want to do, all right. They could do what they want to do. But, all right, in the new kingdom, they would be basically under Israel. They would be subservient to Israel. All right, bringing Israel their first fruits. All right, bringing Israel whatever their nation has. All right, whatever the nation produces at a premium. All right, we will get the first fruits out of that. Okay? But that's another lesson for another time. All right, I just want to show you how close we are to the Charagma. How close we are, all right, to the one of the last two major prophecies being fulfilled. How close we are, all right, to the return of Lord Yahweh Shai Mashiach. This is why we tell our people to repent, all right, come back to Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, all right, we soon out of here.
About 6G earlier, which is around 2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies. This is CEO of Nokia now. All right, this is CEO of Nokia saying that smartphones will be built into our body by 2030. And 2030 used to sound far off, all right? But I want you to know what year it is. It's 2026. As I do this video. So 2030 ain't too far off, eh? All right, let me play it again.
About 6G earlier, which is around 2030, I would say that by then, definitely the smartphone as we know it today will not anymore be the usual kind of the most common interface. Wow. Many of these things will be built directly into our bodies.
So when you hear them talking about 6G, all right, 6G, when you hear them start bringing that 6G into high demand, all right, you know where we at, all right, you know it's the end, all right, they're basically going to be merging man with machine, all right, this is another video, all right, showing you, all right, how the Chinese basically putting that brain-computer interface, all right, into your brain and controlling thoughts, basically controlling your thoughts. All right, they want to have you basically basically entrapped. All right, so they can tell you what to think, when to think, how to spend, where to spend, what to do at all times. All right, you're going to be basically subservient to them, but this only for 2/3 of our people, right? Because the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai will not be deceived by this. read the clips. It says Chinese scientists have made a breakthrough in clinical trial of the world's first fully implantable wireless battery-powered brain-computer interface system. A 28-year-old paralyzed patient controlled a person with his thoughts. He was able to browse the web pages and interact with games and operate smart devices, including humanoid robots. You see, right? That's how close we is to the end. Now people refuse to repent and come back to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right.
China says brain-computer tech could reach practical public use in just 3 to 5 years. That warning came as Beijing elevated brain-computer interfaces in its new 5-year plan. China already has more than 10 active invasive human trials, plans to enroll over 50 patients this year, and is targeting major BCI breakthroughs by 2027. Some provinces are already piloting insurance coverage for BCI treatments before mass public use even begins. The brain chip race is no longer just about the lab. It is about who gets reimbursement first. China says brain-computer tech could reach practical public use in just 3 to 5 years. That warning came as Beijing elevated brain-computer interfaces in its new 5-year plan. China already has more than 10 active invasive human trials, plans to enroll over 50 patients this year, and is targeting major BCI breakthroughs by 2027. Some provinces are already piloting insurance coverage for BCI treatments before mass public use even begins.
All right, so insurance companies are already gearing up. So you know this thing is here. All right, we know this thing coming. All right, but like I said, the lack of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai won't be deceived. This is the book of Matthew 24 and 24. It reads, "For there shall also be false Mashiachs, false Christs, and false prophets, and that shall show great signs and wonders, insomuch that if it were possible, they shall deceive the very elect." All right, but we know 2/3 of our people are going to fall for this because they like to be the first. They like to be on the cutting edge of technology. They like to be the first to get things. All right, and some of them are going to be vulnerable. All right, what they're basically doing is trying to destabilize the world economies, destabilize, all right, certain nations so that they can be dependable on them. And so when they usher in this MOTB, all right, when they usher in these devices, all right, people will be susceptible to taking them because why? They're going to be vulnerable. All right, because they had no faith in Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai. All right, but the elect of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai is going to stand firm. All right. Another precept I want to get. All right, it's the book of 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. It reads, "Lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices." All right, we ain't ignorant of Satan's devices, man, because, you know, through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai, and with such excellent leaders, camp heads, all right, and mainly the men of the great millstone, all right? The 100% truth is out there, all right? And it's a blessing from Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai to be able to understand and to be able to break down the scriptures, to know exactly what to look out for, all right? The 4 warnings was there thousands of years ago. Our forefathers, these are the things that they were seeing. These are the things that they were prophesying about, all right? And now we seeing it come to fruition, all right? So this devil can't trick us, man. You know what I mean? Like, read it again, 2 Corinthians 2 and 11. That Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. You can't be ignorant of his devil devices. Okay? You can't be, your mouth can't be open and tasting it from every point. All right? The Holy Scriptures, the highest form of knowledge, all right, on the planet, all right, is knowledge of the Holy Scriptures. And this is more precious than wisdom. This is more precious than rubies, gold, diamonds, whatever precious metal there is. All right, no college degree, or no doctorate, or no masters, or nothing. It's more precious, all right, than the Holy Scriptures. You understand? All right, because you have doctors fallen susceptible to taking the mark of the beast. All right, you have so-called, what you call it, scholars, all right, falling for the mark of the beast. All right, I wouldn't talk with Jake. The most I don't call our people sortish. You know what sortish means? That means stupid. Jake they be running to take that. All you gotta do is put a brown on that, put a marking on it. They going for that. All right, Samsung, Jordan, Apple, they can take that. All right, this is the book of Isaiah 36:6. It reads, "Lo, thou trusted in the staff of this broken reed on Egypt, whereon if a man lean, it would go into his hand and pierce it. So is Pharaoh, king of Egypt, all that trust in him." All right, this thing going into your hand or your forehead. All right, PCIs, brain computer interfaces, that going in your head. They trying to implant this, all right, inside of you. Be it your hand, your head, your brain, your ass, whatever. They putting that inside you. All right, and a lot of our people put their trust, all right, in so-called doctors, in these scientists, in Egypt, in America, all right, in China, all right, all right. The physical counterpart of the spiritual demon Satan, all right, is the so-called white man, all right, and we know he ain't no one more wickeder than him. And like I say in the opening interlude, he ain't out to get our people, you so-called Native Americans, Negroes, and Latinos. That's all we want. He ain't want but no one else. You know what I mean? And as it says here in Revelations, the book of Revelations 18, all right, I can start from verse 18. "And he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on earth in the sight of men." The so-called white man, right, with that atomic bomb in Hiroshima, with their nuclear weaponry, all right, with their Smiths, with their scientists, or with the nuclear scientists or whatever, all right? It reads, "And he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had the power to do in the sight of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth, that should make an image to the beast, which had the wound, which was wounded by the sword, and did live." All right? You have those miracles. He's a part of those miracles. Not only those nuclear weaponry, all right? There's Karagma, all right? The mark of the beast, because when that mark of the beast come out, all right, watch what they could do, all right? It's going to help people who have paralysis, help people who have hearing deficiencies, seeing deficiencies, immobilizations, you know what I mean? Certain things. It's going to help them, all right? But it's going to have adverse effects also, all right? That's just how this devil go. He know what he doing. He know our people ain't supposed to take that. But watch who the push, watch who the initiative, or it's going to be geared towards. All right? Verse 15, "And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak, and cause as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed." Our people, the elect of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai, is not going to take it. We're going to stand firm for Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. That causing some of us to be martyred. That causing some of us to be thrown in FEMA camps. That's causing some of us to be imprisoned, victimized, beaten, brutally beaten. All right? The ropes. All right? But you have to stand firm for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. All right? Stephen get his ass handed to him. Peter them get their ass handed to him. All right? John was beheaded for the truth. Okay? Among a bevy of other things with the prophets before us, I had to go through. All right? But we got to stand firm for Yahweh by Hashem Yahushai. Don't take that mark of the beast. All right? Revelation 18:16. "And he caused all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive that mark in the right hand or in their foreheads." All right? All means all. They're going to start off with the initiative push to make it look like it's basically affordable. Then they're basically going to turn society on you. All those who took it and know that you ain't take it, they're going to turn society on you, making you look like the bad guy. All right? Like how it was a couple of years ago with that juicy juice. All right, verse 17. "And that no man might buy or sell, save he had that charagma or the name of the beast or the number of his name." All right, the economy is already going to be destabilized because of what's going on, all right, with that World War III. I mean, with these wars and rumors of wars. All right, so it's going to be very difficult to obtain finances, cash, fiat cash, sell your products. All right, it's going to be very difficult for you to do that without, all right, this charagma. All right, but the Most High Power, Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, says he will provide, even though they're going to make it extremely difficult for you. Verse 18. "Here is wisdom, let him that hath the understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number is 666. All right, so they're going to basically turn you into a barcode. You're going to be relegated to a number, all right, on the Internet of Things, on the cloud. All right, they're going to basically know exactly what you do, your sleep patterns, all right, everything, all right. So Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai ain't playing, man. All right. So with that short lesson, I'd like to give all thanks, glory, honor, and praise to the supreme power, Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai Bahashim Rakakadash. Double honor to the elders and the apostles of the great men's doing. Peace and salutation to those for the elect. All right. Till we meet again, Shalom, Babal, and Kwam Yasharahla. All right. Repent, Yasharahla. Repent.